What's up, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the Sony rx100 Mark 7. We're filming this on the ZV-1, which has the same sensor and is very similar in a lot of ways. Going to be looking through the settings a little bit. So yeah, on the front it's pretty basic, not a lot going on here, no grip at all. I don't have huge hands, but I find it kind of hard to hold this camera. You do have this turning mechanism here on the lens you could use for a few different things. You've got the zoom on the top, on-off switch, and then you got this regular setting dial here. Get the flash that pops up. I've never really, well, I did try that out for a second there, but I didn't really do much with that. We've got this viewfinder that pops up. I really do like the viewfinder. It's kind of dirty right now, so everything gets kind of greasy on this thing. Let's turn it on. I might not actually have a battery in there. Let me grab one. I've got some right here. You can kind of see the ZV-1 in the screen. So these batteries, they don't last that long. Kind of small, but I mean, it's a small camera. Alright, so now we can kind of see how the lens extends out there. Very fragile if you were to drop this. So with the function menu, let's see what we've got. A timer, focus mode, focus area, exposure compensation, ISO. One thing I don't like about this camera is you actually have to kind of go into the menu to change some of the stuff like ISO and shutter speed. You know, unless you're putting it on aperture mode or shutter speed priority or something like that, because you don't have any dials. Like, here is an example of a camera that is easy to use. This is the Fuji XT4. You've got dials on all over the camera. You even got, you know, the dials on the back, the front, the top. You can easily change everything very quickly on Fuji cameras. Even on the XE3, let's pull it out. Whoa. You got at least some dials, and you can customize this front shutter to be different things. But you don't really have any dials on this thing. You got this little wheel back here that's totally useless. Let's see. So yeah, we got flash. Yeah, JPEG. Nobody's gonna use picture profiles on Sony cameras. So let's go all the way back to the first part of the menu. I didn't even realize the menu didn't start at the beginning when you just turn this thing on. It kind of remembers where you were and starts there. That's interesting. So let's check some of this out. We've got it in JPEG, fine. I don't really like the photos from this. I mean, I like this. It's got a great sensor, but I like the ZV-1 and I like the RX10 Mark IV much better. For some reason, that lens, that 24 to 600 millimeter Zeiss lens is amazing on the RX10 Mark IV. So I would go with that before I'd go with this. It's about the same price. Color space, I haven't messed with any of these settings. This is how I bought it. So it's RGB. You can put it in Adobe RGB and have a little more color to choose from. I just have it in single shooting. One good thing about this camera, if you're doing it sports or something like that, it's got really quick burst. I haven't messed with any of that. I've just done a little bit of wildlife photography, and I made a video on that. I don't know if this video is going to go up first or the other one where I actually shoot photos of deer. But yeah, I've got a video coming, actually shooting some wildlife with this. So focus mode, I would probably put it in single shot most of the time. Automatic, let's see. I probably never use manual focus on this lens. Probably keep it in single shot. Wide. If you're doing wildlife, I feel like wide works pretty good. It does a pretty good job. You know, the autofocus on this camera is great. I can't say anything bad about the autofocus. I can't say anything bad about the burst rate because it's amazing, you know, class leading. I don't really like the screen where you can't close it. You know, it's always exposed to the elements. The ZV-1 has a better lens, better screen, and better features. So I think that, and the ZV-1's cheaper, so I'd go with the ZV-1 over this any day. Animal eye display is on. So I guess if you wanted human eye display, you'd have to turn the animal eye display off. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I'm terrible at going through the Sony menu. I know there's actually some kind of like beauty settings, but it's only in photo, it's not in video in this camera. Picture effect and picture profiles off. Yeah, soft skin effect. I think that's only in photos. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it out and see. Because I've never really heard of anyone using this camera for like vlogging with a soft skin effect, but that might be something interesting to make a video on. I don't think anybody really cares about manual assist and peaking in this camera. Nobody's getting this camera to manually focus. The reason you're getting this camera is because it has good, quick autofocus. It's something for like it's just easy to use and fast and reliable. Nobody's gonna use that. Let's see. Why does everything always come in HD at 60 frames a second? I usually change it to 24. And how many people are really... Is this a video game? Who wants 60 seconds? 60 frames a second. Steady shot is on active. The steady shot was pretty good. I walked around with this camera and I tested that out in that future video that's coming out while I was taking pictures of deer, and it worked pretty good for vlogging. It looked better than the ZV-1 walking in some of the shots. So I changed this to optical zoom only. I did change that because that digital zoom and clear image zoom is awful. I hate that. They say in video it doesn't degrade the quality to do clear image zoom, but I was zooming in and I hated it. I hate not being able to, like, maybe if it stopped for a second when you got to the end of the digital zoom, but you never really know when you're in digital zoom or in, optical zoom and then digital zoom. So I've got optical only. I feel like that's going to be the best thing. Once you're out there in clear image zoom or digital zoom, I don't think the stability is going to work as good either, especially in video. Like, yeah, I mean, everybody's going to keep the viewfinder and screen to auto, custom keys. I haven't really messed with anything custom on here. I don't think anything else is going to be really that important in here to talk about. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty interesting camera. But I mean, now that we have the ZV-1, I feel like the ZV-1 is better in every way, in my opinion. It's got a better grip, better screen, better lens. Unless you really need a compact camera that has a 200mm full frame equivalent, I don't see why anyone would go with this. If it has to be pocketable, I mean, maybe you can go with this, but that RX10 series, the lens is so much better. It's not even close. You can just get sharper images and way more zoom, better image stabilization. I think the RX10 series is phenomenal for wildlife and stuff like that. This is a street photography camera. You know, if you want something stealthy and small, keep in your pocket. This is for people who live in the city. It's not for wildlife at all. And people who want something stealthy that's hidden in their pocket. So yeah, that's the RX. Oh gosh. There we go. So yeah, that's the RX100 Mark 7. Really great pocket street photography camera. And that's all I would use it for. Documentation, like documentary style and street. I wouldn't use it for wildlife at all. I wouldn't use it for portraits. It'd be really hard to get a good portrait with a blurry background. You'd zoom all the way in and everything would be flat and compressed. So yeah, that's it. I mean, there's nowhere to mount a microphone on top. That's another problem. The ZV-1 is fixed. I've got a Rode mic right now on the ZV-1. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out my other videos on this camera. I've got a video coming with some wildlife photography and some street photography, so check that out. Hit the subscribe button because I got a lot more videos to come. Thanks for watching.